Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Patrick and you're trading with Prime. Let's get into it. Sunday. We're going to go for 30 minutes today. Hopefully we can shorten this a little bit each week, and if we need to run over time, we'll run over time. First thing I want to do before we get into it, I put out a notification on Facebook and on Discord talking about, the bearish case. We looked at the bull case on Friday, and I just posted a link in the comment section of the video from Friday talking about the bullish case scenario. Now we're going to get into the bearish case scenario, but first thing, before we get into it, I want to switch over to something really quick. Those of you who are new, again, welcome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Discord to show you the server really quick. Go ahead and, if you are new, go to rtbtrading.com. We're doing a trial right now, 25 bucks a month, not bad for the alerts. I want to go through really quick. This just shows you the profit channel. I'm going to not get into any of the other channels right now. I'm just going to go look through the profit channel. So I want to give a shout out to a few people. First of all, well done on everyone who posted to the profit channel, starting from the 21st all the way through. Well done, well done, well done. And that's what this is. This is a community. We help each other out. This isn't just about giving alerts and people, it's good that we can all make money. For those of you who are struggling, I want to dive into a little bit on what we are missing out on, what our hangups are, because we all struggle from time to time. And let me scroll down here. So first I want to give a shout out to Huckleberry. Absolutely amazing. He did thank me and Super. And I want to say that, Huckleberry, you are the one who took the trades. This is your money. You put your money to work, and we try to guide and we try to help out as much as we can. So well done on your trades. Absolutely amazing. These we love seeing this. The 640% gain, Vegas satellite, absolutely amazing trades. And learn to swim. I appreciate you in the group, and I'm glad that you are pulling through with your profits. That's absolutely amazing. So okay, enough about that. Yes. Oh, by the way, actually, let's go to the 500 percenters. Absolutely beautiful. Again, Vegas satellite, well done on that. Tyson coming through with the win here, 1450%. Nothing major. Crux, good old Crux. Well done, well done. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna get off of Discord again. rtbtrading.com. Check it out. I'm gonna go flip over the charts, and again, we saw the bullish case. This is what I want to do. I'm going to briefly go over the bearish case, and the reason why is I think there's like a misconception out there about what trading is about. It's about trying to figure out where price is going to be at in 3 days or 4 days or 2 weeks from now or a month from now or 2 months from now. And in my opinion, trading is more about reading what's in front of you that day or that week or whatever time frame it is that you're trading on. And we do the best that we can do, and we put our stop losses in, and then we just see what we see what the market can give us. It's in my opinion, it's less about trying to predict where the price is going to be, where the turns are coming. It's good to be aware of things like, good old US elections coming up. We know that we understand there should be some volatility coming up here. It's good to be aware of these things. It's a good look at the fundamentals. But at the end of the day, what is the chart telling us? And we went over briefly, like it looks like we are making a bottom here. We are making a bottom to curl up and out of this Friday's video. However, we do need to put together some sort of resemblance of, if we're wrong, how do we know that we're wrong in the trade? If we are long right now, what price do we know that we want to be stopped out at? Dead wrong in the trade. And that's the thing, is each trader is going to have to kind of determine for themselves. What I see here, I'm going to start off with the Qs. What I see with the Qs is the bearish case is one bear flag, the next bear flag, and we're just consolidating just above support. We're flirting with this 266.90. And I've kind of said in chat that 266.90 above it is bullish, below it is bearish. No matter what, let me zoom in on the chart a little bit here on the daily. It absolutely looks like distribution up here on the top. We can definitely call this a top until it's not. We would like to see prices breaking out of this zone. We don't know where price is going, but we do know if price gets above 271.91 area, absolutely the short squeeze will be underway. But again, below 266.90, I would have to lean more bearish. There shouldn't be any reason why we're back down in this zone come Monday or early this next week. If we are flirting with this 266.90 area, just keep in mind also, and let me pull up the good old pen here for you guys. So, you guys see the screen okay? Or is it a blank screen? Oh, first of all, let me get off the Discord thing. Okay, let's get back to our... Okay, can you guys see the screen? Can you guys hear me okay? Am I yelling in your ears? Okay, so there really is no reason to be back down here in this zone. Absolutely not. We should really stay above this 266.90. And again, my number could be off. It could be above that or below that. What we do know, though, is we had one bear flag, and then we had another. This is technically a bear flag until it breaks out. Keep in mind back here, we had a lot of consolidation, so it would be a black swan, some sort of news event this week that could shoot us through this area. But if we consolidate in this zone for a few more days / weeks, it's more likely that we will break down. I am bullish the market right now. I'm positioned long with the understanding that we could definitely break down out of this instead of to the upside. We're going to go over to SPY. And by the way, guys, how's it going? Abe, Dwayne, Philly, what's up? Carl, what's up? Mark, how's it going? Hey, let's do this. Why don't we start posting tickers, and we're going to put together a watch list, and we'll go over some charts. So SPY, same scenario, right? We had a distribution on the top right here. We can kind of call it a top. Maybe some people don't agree with this. We could call it a top, or we could just call it a correction. This technically could be, we are in correction territory. This could just be a pullback before we see higher prices. A possible scenario is that we don't get all the way up to the all-time highs. Maybe we get up here to the 234 area, 244 area, 243 area. We'll have a lot of resistance around this area. So it is, be mindful of that as we start getting closer to those areas up above. There's a lot of gaps here that price might want to fill. But again, we don't know where it's going to go. We just want to trade the market that's in front of us. Let's go. I'll look at a couple more. Again, I wanted to just show you the bearish case. TLT is looking a little bit bullish. Maybe that's bearish for the market. Sometimes it's bearish for the market. That's something to be definitely mindful of. We don't know which way it's going to go just yet. It is the bond market. It does like to surprises from time to time. Let's go to IWM. I've been trading IWM. I've been pretty successful with IWM recently. And again, I'm bullish right now. We'll see what Monday is. There's, we could wake up on Monday to a 800-point gap down, pending some sort of bad news that none of us are aware of. However, there are so many people that are bearish the market right now, including myself, that I believe that my bullish trades could play out. And I know when I'm wrong below 142, I'm wrong in the IWM. Let's get into let's look at the dollar, and I know we should be looking at probably the futures here. Dollar's coming into some resistance right now. We can see this we're using the UUP right now. We can see there's some resistance around 25.90, and the reason why I say that is it used to be prior support, and this price area, and if we drew somewhat of a, I don't know if we could do this. Could we draw one from up here? I don't know, maybe we could draw one from around here. We could draw a trend line coming in down here. It did break out, that's for sure. It was consolidating on here, putting in a bottom, breaking out. I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar pulled back just a little bit. Maybe it'll be bullish, but maybe a little bit of a pullback would be healthy, and we'll see how that affects the market. Okay. What watch list are we on? Oh, on watch. Beautiful watch list last week. Went long in DXC, but I'm going to take it off the list. Snow, I bought some long term. I'm taking it off the list. I would like Snow to pull back even more, maybe $50 to $80 cheaper than current price. I'm going to delete all these. If you like these charts, feel free to tell me, and I'll put them back up. I believe some people are looking at Chewy. RKT took a trade in. Yelp is looking pretty good. AMD, we'll leave AMD on. GoDaddy took a trade. Taking it off the list though. And again, let me know if you guys want these back up here. And I will put them back up. Actually, I'm going to take AMD off too. We'll see. Okay, let's get to your guys' stuff. Enough of mine. Enough of my behavior. Okay. Let me catch up on comments. So Carl asks, how do we play it if we see sideways till Thursday? That's the thing is, I'll tell you one thing. The longer we go sideways, the less... The longer we go sideways, the less risk I'm willing to have on the table. Because we don't want to see price go sideways. We don't want to see continued consolidation. And the reason why is if I do this and zoom out here, and this is just, again, this isn't my opinion. I'm not saying take a trade off this information. But if this was happening to me and I saw this, like for instance, where you saw price run up and then traded sideways, that was a pretty good indication that we were potentially going to break out, and especially after we broke out. And then we did it again right here. We traded sideways. So the same thing on the downside, right? So when price puts in a high, pulls back, and then drops and then consolidates. If it consolidates long enough, it drops again. And I'm going to zoom in on this price action right here. And you can see where price fell down, it consolidated, it broke down again, it's consolidating. We don't want to see price continue to consolidate into Thursday or the rest of the week. And if we do, I'm most likely going to exit my long trades. Because at that point, it could go either way. I mean, really, anytime it could go either way. NVIDIA. Thank you, Abe. Am I yelling in your guys' ears? It's all good on my end, on your end? Okay. You guys are not yelling in my ear. Absolutely nothing wrong with this chart. Little expensive for my taste for NVIDIA, but I bet you the contracts are getting a little, or probably aren't cheap. Anyway, it's above all the moving averages. It's definitely bullish. It looks like it's breaking out. And by the way, there's something I kind of notice here. Maybe it's because NVIDIA just had some news about, I don't know, maybe they released, I don't know, maybe they released some sort of processors or graphics cards. What we do notice is this, is that you saw price relative to the S&P and the Qs, you saw price drop down, consolidate, and then it just kind of stayed in this zone, and maybe it had a second period of consolidation, not necessarily higher or lower. But one thing the first thing I notice right now is I notice it breaking out. Now, what will really mean the breakout or not is whether we see follow through, but keep in mind there's going to be resistance up here, and I'll give you a price. Well, first of all, it's getting close to resistance at 521.30, and then again at 531.95. If we can close a daily candle above 531.95, call it 532. If we can close the day above it, this gap up here is going to act as a magnet, and it's going to want to pull price up here, and the gap is around 553.15. One day at a time. In a couple days, let's say it rallies up here and then it closes a day inside of this gap, it's definitely going to want to fill the gap. But again, one day at a time, let's see. And then you know you're wrong in the trade. If price starts heading back down into this consolidation area, that probably isn't a good sign. That's probably the first warning sign. Thank you, Carl. And by the way, something I noticed a couple days ago, posting these alerts. And by the way, I'll get that alert. Every week I was putting out the profits on the alerts, or profit potentials on the alerts, and then the prices that I stopped out at on the alerts. And I'll try to get to that. I just haven't had a lot of time, but I'll try to get to that again. I'm probably missing the last 2 weeks. I have the benefit of posting, part of it is I have a benefit of posting alerts, and so because of that, I'm always concerned that people are going to lose money, so I try to find the best possible setups, and I'm sure that Duck and Super and you know, we try to post the best alerts that we can come across, and the less risky ones anyway. Okay, keys. Not for me. With this kind of chart, it's pretty volatile, it's pretty choppy. When the chart begins to look like this, what I do is I go out to the weekly time frame so I can get a better understanding of what's going on. I have no idea what this company does, but on the weekly time frame, extremely bullish on the weekly time frame. I could definitely see higher prices. We haven't been rejected. Remember, it's the good old consolidation, and this one's been consolidating for quite a while, almost like Tesla's consolidation back in 2016, 17, 18. Where you saw it just trading sideways at 285, 350. That was pre-split. So on the weekly time frame, looks pretty bullish, but there's nothing that says price can't fall all the way back down here in this zone. I'll give you a price. There's nothing that says it can't fall all the way down here to 80, back down towards 80. I wouldn't say it's likely. It looks like the chart likely wants to head higher. But going back to the daily time frame, for me and my kind of trading, it's really hard to trade off of this. But the action we just saw is we just saw a bottom here, and then price rallied back up into the zone. Because price was consolidating here and then it broke down and then it pushed back up into the consolidation. That is called a failed breakout, but this one would be to the downside failed breakout, back up into the consolidation, and now it's making a bull flag pattern. And if I zoom in on it just like this, now you can kind of see that bull flag where it has a bottom here, the pole, the flag. So maybe it really, if it can break out of this consolidation, I would first look at this price area up here around 101, and then I would look up here around 105.82. Shop, thank you. Thank you, Abe. Shop. Okay. Now this is the kind of chart that I like, and you can notice my lines on the bottom of the screen here, my support lines. I don't know if you guys can see those, where it was down here at 282, and this is when I wish I would have purchased. You never know at the time when price is doing this way down here. You never know what kind of year it's gonna turn into, and you kind of wish that you could just read the future and you knew what was gonna happen. That was a nice little 250% return on that. Wish I would have got into it personally, but it is what it is. This is the kind of chart I like seeing. I like to see almost a failed breakout, and I'll kind of highlight this on the screen, and maybe you guys can kind of see this with me. It has a double bottom here. It rallies up, consolidates, rallies up, consolidates, turns up, consolidates. Here's the one issue. It rallies up, consolidates. Maybe this is the time that it rallies one more time, or however many more times, or it's going to make a lower high compared to this high up here. It's going to put in maybe a lower high and then roll over. The benefit of being long in a trade like this is you are very close to risk, and I'll put the two risk lines on the screen. And what that means is you have more reward potential. If you can break out above 963, you have more reward up here compared to knowing that you're wrong in the trade. You would only lose underlying shares 8% versus winning potentially all the way up here to 19%, but you could start down here at 5.5, 13, and then 18%. So this is the ideal trade setup. Probably would have been better to get in down here, or even even lower prices, but be mindful that this could just be a lower high as opposed to making newer highs. Shop on here. Okay, Dwayne, you loaded me up, man. You loaded me up with a bunch. Oh, I love GLD. I'm gonna put GLD up here. I also like. Okay, thank you, Dwayne, for this one. I'm gonna take the fibs off of it. Again, I want to see the weekly time frame. It looks like it's making a daily bear flag, and it looks like it wants to come down here to 170. That's pretty far away to if it gets down to 170, I probably start accumulating it. But further than that, maybe 160, and that is definitely way too far away to even think about. We'll see what happens. It broke out of this. It made a move. So if we did a measured move on this, in my opinion, of course, if we did a measured move from the flagpole right here to up here, excuse me, well, you could do the measured move from the flagpole up, or you could measure the actual inside of the flag. But even from here all the way up, I would expect price to at least come back down to the base of this, which would be around this 170 area. I am long-term GLD, and I'm not selling them. And then I also have SLV, but BAC, I'm long BAC right now. Thank you for this one, Dwayne. I hope you're not short. So just looking at the weekly time frame, it's extremely bearish. I would not be surprised to see this next leg down, and if it did, maybe it wants to hit this rising trend line, which I don't even see where this thing is going. Let's see here. Maybe there's a rising trend line right here coming off of the 2012 lows to the 2016 lows to current price. But to be honest, like BAC, if it continues to struggle, it might want lower prices. However, I'm long right now on a bounce potential. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the daily chart. So it's almost making to me, this pattern is a little bit more bearish. There was a little bit of indecision recently, which I did take a long trade on this, and I do have a stop loss firmly in place below 20. I'd have to look at the stop loss. It's a little bit below current price. I'm not convinced of the volume. We do see lower and lower volume. We are below all 3 moving averages. It looks pretty bearish, but it is decent for a balanced trade in my opinion. Plus, now that I'm looking at the chart in real time, is I see this consolidation area here, and I see consolidation right here, consolidation areas right here. It would be significant for price to just shoot right through all this consolidation area. It would have to be, again, some sort of bad news, maybe something that has to do with, I don't know, stress tests. Okay. DAL. I missed these airlines. I took a couple. I'm gonna go DAL. You know, there's several ways to look at this chart, but if I did this and I just kind of zoomed in on this recent price action, if I just did this, and I didn't know any of the history with Delta, what I do know, the first thing that catches my eye is that you see this low here, consolidation broke down and then rallied higher. It's beginning to make, you know, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. I understand this one was up here, but maybe that's just a dead cat bounce. But as you can see, it's just consolidating here. It is okay to be long in my opinion. Plus, you can see why there was support over here. I'm going to clear the screen and really show you. If you follow my cursor, if you can, see this candle right here is almost like a breakout candle. And I'm going to zoom in just on this price action. And now you can see what I'm talking about. There's this candle right here. And of course, you can see why that candle acted as some sort of support. That price area plus this flag pattern right here. And again, you see all this consolidation back here. So it's no surprise it found support. It's bullish in the context of maybe a bounce. We'll see if we can get prices. Maybe I'd be targeting this area up here around 3106. Whoops. Whoopsie. JBLU. I don't know if I've traded JBLU. Have I? I don't think I have. Same thing, higher lows, higher lows. A little bit concerning because the one thing, and with all the airlines and Boeing and every, you know, these kind of things, you do see this pattern here, and you see this in the. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna throw a little game in there, and some of you probably already know this, but be mindful when you're trading the airlines and also the banks, and pick your favorite bank, pick your favorite airline. You'll notice how the transports and the banking and casinos and hotels and cruise lines, they all kind of trade together. It's beyond I have no idea why the banks, you know, like to rally with the casinos and well, maybe I understand casinos, but with the airlines, it's a weird connection, but it's definitely there. This could be a bear flag in the making. It would be one of the biggest bear flags I've ever seen. But as far as a bounce trade, I could definitely see this being a bounce trade, maybe targeting this 1227, minimum 1227, all the way up to 1267. Okay. Uber. Oh my gosh, Uber has been a beast. Absolute beast. All the way from back here from 819. We took this trade. Definitely a beast of a chart. Definitely a hold. And I was probably a day or two too early. I saw this channel here, or this flag pattern right here. We saw it break out recently. It came back and back tested, and I tried to catch it on this day right here, and I was stopped out of the first trade. Back in the trade, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to do this and zoom in on the chart now. This is probably, and it was one of those scenarios where it was almost too good to be true, and that's kind of what we were talking about in the post, is like, when they're this clean of a back, first of all, you had horizontal resistance turning into hopefully support, and then you had this downsloping flag pattern and this flag pattern from over here. And so it was almost too good to be true, and of course I was stopped out, and then of course the buyer showed up. Definitely bullish, and I would be personally targeting this 36.52 for starters, and then these highs up here around 39.24. Uber. Thank you, Dwayne, for those. What's going on, Philly? He's longer to have some shares. Catch up on chat. CCL. TCL, it's almost similar to the ones like the banking, the airlines. It's pretty close. Again, they all kind of trade together. So CCL, same thing. You see this down move. It's almost a waterfall sell-off in this technically is consolidation. usually resulting in another down move. But let's not try to predict that. Let's just play what's in front of us. And I do see a low down here is 780. And of course, it's making higher lows. This one, I would consider that dead cat bounce that we talked about. It pulled back. It's consolidating. It's definitely bullish. Maybe it wants to challenge these moving averages. The one thing is I wouldn't necessarily hold a lot of weight in the moving averages at this point. You can see how price just trades up and around them, up and down, crossing over them like they're not even there. One thing is for sure, though. There will be a day that we come up here and touch this 200 period moving average, and I don't know if it's anytime soon, but when that happens, I don't want to say I can guarantee, but it is highly likely that that 200 period moving average will act as some sort of resistance, and don't be surprised to chop right through it intraday. And of course, that's too far away to even think about, but just giving you a little bit of clarity if I can. I don't know if that's clarity or not. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so as far as the lower time frame, not lower time frame, but just zooming in here again, it did make a low and then it had almost a breakout on heavy volume. It's definitely coming up here. It looks like it wants to close this gap, and if it does, it can get above the gap again. You have these prices up here. I would almost be targeting $16 in this one, and then of course 17, 19. I like CCL. One day it'll be okay. Alaska or American. I did not take this trade. This would have been nice though. Well done if you got in this trade. I would definitely hold these. If it were me, I'd be holding this to at least 1273, 1296, and then 1353. See what you can get out. See what you can get out of it. Okay, Invax. By the way, you guys, feel free to invite friends if you want to these streams, to the channel. Here to help out as much as we can. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, bell notification. And we do go live, of course, every Sunday. Most Sundays, I'd say, not every Sunday. We'll see. This one, I'm always a little bit cautious of these vaccine ones, up 4,300%. Definitely cautious of them. I see a lot of hope, but the chart is bullish, like it doesn't matter how much it's. I got a motorcycle outside. It doesn't really matter how much the chart is up, or like people like to say it's extended. Well, it doesn't really matter. It can stay extended for a very long time, and as you can see, this one's been extended since 2019 into 20. So yeah, coming into 20, definitely potential here. Maybe there's some virus, vaccine news. Definitely bullish. It looks like it's consolidating. It looks like it wants to break out. Just be mindful of course, when the sellers do show up, they might really show up in force. There's a lot of people that are bullish and that are holding, but keep in mind also you have a low down here. Price ran up, got a little ahead of itself, pulled back, and this pullback is probably, let's take a look here. This pullback is a 50% pullback. It almost looks like it looks like Tesla chart a little bit, where a 50% pullback is almost nothing to this chart. Definitely buyers showing up here after that correction. And so maybe we can get a breakout here. It looks like it ran up and now it's creating a bull flag. So let's see what happens come this week. Maybe it needs a little bit more time to do its thing. Okay. Yeah, it looks like there are a lot of cup and handles. And that's the thing, is it could go either way. I mean, we have our targets, we have our stop losses. Yeah, so as far as the banks and Congress passing another stimulus, I'm mixed on that, because at the end of the day, well, I definitely don't want to get into politics, but there's going to be more stimulus. At the end of the day, there's definitely going to be more stimulus, regardless of who's in office. You would imagine that the stimulus will start rolling out before the elections as people want to get voted in. But they all kind of have to work together. It's kind of a charades type of thing. where they have to work together and they have to stab each other in the backs as much as possible to get what they need and want. One thing is for sure, stimulus is on the way. We will see how the banks are affected by it. We know the bond market's definitely going to be affected by it. The stock market will definitely be affected by it. One thing they cannot solve, no matter how much money that they quote unquote print, is solvency. And we haven't seen the worst of it yet. Okay, so let's get back to this. Let me get off my conspiracies. What about Roku? Is that what we're on next? Roku? Yep, let's do it. I haven't traded Roku in a while. So, bullish consolidation. You know, let's take a look at the weekly chart. Again, there's nothing wrong with this. You know, it put in a high. It ran up here to $200, which was kind of expected, around 200 just psychologically. It wanted to run that first test, pull back, and I don't think that's a reversal. I think that's just the first test. Maybe it needs a little bit more time, a little bit more consolidation. So depending on if you're holding options or if you are long just with the shares, but it definitely could use a little bit more time. However, I'm noticing this pattern here. And by the way, guys, if you start to notice patterns on charts, this is where charting becomes a little bit tricky. And what I mean by that is you'll see these patterns on the charts, and you might see a stock do something one time, you'll see it do it a second time. Be very careful about the third time, because by the time that you can see it, so can everyone else. And a lot of times it does the opposite of what everyone thinks it's going to do in the pattern. And so what I mean by that is price ran up, it broke out, it traded sideways, it broke out, it pulled back, it faked everybody out. This really looked like a bear flag, but instead it released the energy to the upside, pulled back, broke out again, pulled back. And naturally you would look at this pattern and you would say, you know what, we have to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's a bull flag, it's going to break out above 200. But guess what it might want to do first? It might want to do this and then trade sideways and then break out. So we just have to be mindful of that. Just know your numbers. You know, if you're in this trade, 166.33 has no business being down there. In fact, it doesn't really have much business being down 176.80. But it is possible to pull back below that and then rally. Yeah, you know, Mark, I've noticed that too, especially with the banks. Like, even, and Mark was just saying that the cruisers and the planes can't hold their daily gains, and that's absolutely true. Just look at the daily chart with all the wicks. And if I go back to, if I go to Wells Fargo, let's not look at Deutsche Bank. We've been trying to short that to zero. But absolutely right. You just see every time it makes a rally here, it gets faded. Rally faded, rally faded. You can almost play every single one of these rallies, just keep shorting it until it stops working. However, the day will come when these banks rally. I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. It's pretty evident on the daily charts that any type of gains that they get, they will be sold off quickly. However, it is possible absolutely to take these bounces. But even with Wells Fargo, it has no business being down here at 22 again. The next time it's down here at 22, it might just fall right through. And I didn't mean to rhyme. Okay. LCCL cruise ban may expire 9/30. I know people who work in the cruise lines. It's personal to me, and I really hope that I hope they can get back to work. It's a sad deal. RCL. What's going on, Nick? Okay. RCL. We're going to go for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Same kind of scenario where you see this drop down. It's almost like a giant bear flag. Let me put it on the weekly chart. Pretty ugly. And not just this one, pretty much a lot of the charts we just looked at. However, with that being said, there's no reason why this can't rally. I know I just totally zoomed in pretty far on you guys. There's no reason why this can't rally and try to go for this 200 period moving average. And I would almost at some point think that it's going to do that. Maybe a little bit more, maybe some good news comes out and this thing rallies up here. But the chart needs a lot of work. And of course, this is the weekly. Daily chart, same thing. It does look like this is a reversal. It just rolled over. We just have to be mindful of where we are not correct in the trade anymore. And maybe that is Friday or looks like Thursday's low. I have a lot of dividend stocks. So Nick asked what is my favorite dividend stock? I have a lot. I have a list of about 10. Maybe this next Sunday, or I can put out a video soon to go over dividends. And that's the thing, guys. No matter what market we're in, it's okay to add to our long-term accounts. And maybe I might even do a video on what I do with my swing trading options, where that money goes when I'm done swing trading it, whether they are wins or losses, where that profit is going, where I apply it, and the dividend stocks that pay out. Okay, Apple, beautiful. It looks like it's trying to put in a bottom here. Same thing with the broad market. So it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom here. Just be mindful of, there's no reason why Apple should be trading below Friday's low. If it does, be very cautious. Maybe it wants to do one more psych out, but I'm going to show you just on a little bit lower of time frames why I believe this. And Apple's been kind of a market leader, and we saw this on Thursday and Friday. It tried to rally a little bit before that, and then it got faded, and then it rallied again, and then put in a higher low, and it looks like it just broke out. Be very, very, very careful, shorts. Be very cautious. We are coming into some resistance right now, but we did break out. And what I mean by the breakout is this area right here. But again, this is just my trend line. Maybe if another million people see this trend line, maybe it's a decent breakout. But if only 3 traders see this breakout, maybe it's not one. Maybe it is a bear flag pattern working out. There's no reason why Apple should be trading back down towards below this low of 107.85. There's no reason why it should be down there unless it wants to do one more fake out, back test the trend again. There's no reason why it should be down there, in my opinion. I know. Okay, so when you see charts like this and you slap yourself for not buying them back when you were trading them, how many times have we done that, where we look back and it's run 300% from bull flag? Absolutely bullish. In fact, it looks like it wants to head up here towards 25, but maybe it needs a little bit more time. Maybe this week, maybe next week. It looks like it wants to rally, but it has, again, no reason being back down below 1440. If it does, I would expect much lower prices. This bull flag would play out, but to the southern side. And what I mean by that is it broke out. It's making a bull flag, and if it fails, it's probably going to fail back down here in this zone somewhere back into consolidation. But it looks like it wants to break out to higher prices, but it might need another week to do that. The VIX. As we know, guys, the VIX is the volatility index, and I've probably said this on Fridays. Anytime I go over the VIX, this is what I talk about. You see this period down here, consolidation. In my opinion, you can accumulate the VIX when it gets down to a certain level. And what we've seen recently is, I believe that the new level is this 22 level. We can safely accumulate the VIX when it's down on this level. And as we see, the market sold off last week, but so did the VIX. Excuse me, maybe it was the prior week where we saw the market selling off, and so was the VIX, which was really weird. But that's the thing, is they don't always correlate. It doesn't mean just because the market is down, the VIX is going to be up, and vice versa. But in my opinion, you can accumulate the VIX for, I wouldn't necessarily call it a safe haven, but you can play it to the long side if we are accumulating at the decent prices. Maybe 3-month out contracts, 4-month. How much is, what is Exxon Mobil's dividend? Yeah, dividend stock. So I'll just say it right now since we're talking about it. Every month I take my trading and plan incorporates every month. If I'm withdrawing money out of my option swing trading, I just transfer it over to long term and I buy stock with it. There are times that I pull money out. It's very rare that I add money, and the reason why is I have a separate retirement account that goes directly monthly payments that are direct, that I don't have any control over. So thank you for Exxon's. Oh yeah, RKT. How's it going, Todd? I mean, and everyone's trading plan is different, guys. Like, you'll get it down. You'll get what you'll have your own system, and that's what's important in my opinion about trading, is like, You're going to have your own system. Like this is your baby. This is your business. This is your livelihood. This is what you can pass down to your future generations. It's you're building it right now. We're building the foundation of that. RKT, I like this chart. I want higher prices. I could be bullish biased. But one thing is for sure, like the other ones we've kind of went over, there's no reason why price should be down here past this reversal candle on the 24th. And the low of this candle is 1937. There's no reason price should be anywhere near that low. In fact, we could just keep raising our stop losses higher. I do think that we're going to go up here and either at least test these moving averages again, but probably up here at a 22.14. We will see how this week plays out. I saw a little bit of selling. That's the only thing concerning is there did look like there was a little bit of selling the last 2 days, even though we did have somewhat of a slowdown. Let me go to the lower time frames. You can see where price dropped. It traded sideways. It's dropping down in this zone. Is this a dead cat bounce? I don't know yet, but one thing is for sure, if we start coming back down here towards 1940, I would assume that this was a dead cat bounce. XOM. What is oil at? Do we know why? Well, I mean, other than the obvious, Hawaiian Exxon is down. I'm sure a lot of oil companies are, but, you know, supply and demand. It's rough. It's brutal out there. It's cutthroat. Scary. I don't even want to go over this chart because it's one of those things where, yeah, we could do technical analysis on it, but at the same time, it looks like there's a lot more in play on these kinds of stocks, especially when you get into oil. Yeah, some of these are scary. But again, long term, you know, here's the thing. Here's the one concern. We don't know what companies aren't going to make it. There are going to be companies, a lot of companies that are going to go bankrupt or are going bankrupt, or, well, if they've put court documents through, we would know about it, but a lot of them we don't know about yet. And it's scary. So if we are holding a lot of shares, this is why it's important to be diversified. Yes, we like the dividends, but it's important to be diversified for that reason, I believe. Okay, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for joining us on stream. Let's keep this list on the watch list. Let's see what happens this week. Let's talk about it in Discord. Let's go over in Discord. Feel free to reach out to me or Super or Duck or Viet Trader. We have a lot to go over this week. And I hope you guys make money. Let's make money. See you guys next week.